So this is probably the last video I'll do on the Velocifero. We purchased the MotoTec Velocifero 1600 watt scooter. We purchased a couple more bikes, electric bikes by Rad Power, the Rad Wagon, and this for my son, the Rad Mini. They have 750 watt motors. They actually go quite a bit faster than the scooter. The white packing material there is just for my son because he's a little short for this bike, so there's a place to break this bike apart and fold it up, and it kind of rubs against him wrong, so I put that there until he gets used to it. So anyway, I just wanted to cover the issues I had with the Velocifero. The first thing I put a video on this was the headlights. One of the lights went out, stopped working. I put two brand new lights on. They're working great now. When I first got the bike, the batteries, which you can't really see, but they're underneath in here. The batteries that came with it, no instructions for wiring any of it, but it wasn't that difficult. But when charging the batteries, I left it on overnight, and there's no type of safety switch or anything in the charger that stops it from continuing to charge, and the batteries that came with it, just the plastic housing melted, so all four of them kind of melted together and stopped working. So I replaced those batteries. That's just one of the two major things that went wrong. The shock over here on the side came apart on one of the rough trails I was at. It didn't break, it just came apart. I put it back together, it seems to be okay. The chain back here, you can see the chain on the right there. It's come loose 3 times now, needing to be tightened. I guess that's probably typical for this type of scooter. Not sure, but you need to keep it somewhat tight so you don't snap the chain. The mud guard or fender fell off twice. The first time I put it back on, it fell off again in no time. The second time I put it on, I used different bolts. I used bolts instead of screws, and then I kind of put some epoxy on them. None of the screws on this entire thing had any Loctite or anything on it, so after a couple rides everything really loosens up. You got to go back and tighten it, and you have to inspect it after every couple rides, otherwise you might have a bad accident if something falls off. The ignition switch, actually it popped out at one time. I've glued that back in. Not a big deal, not a big issue. The decal, you can see that's coming off of the board here. It didn't last too long. It started bubbling up not long after I got it, and then as you can see, the more I ride it, the more it just comes apart. I'll probably refinish that. Those are probably the main things that were the issues. It's still running good. It's a good bike. It's slower than the Rad Minis. The fastest I could get this was about 18 miles per hour. It has a range of about 20 to 25 miles on a single charge with the new batteries. I doubt that the batteries that came with it would come close to that, but these are higher amp hour batteries, so it does perform better with those. Other than that, it seems to be it's a fairly good bike, scooter. Like I said, 1600 watt. This Rad Mini has a 750 watt motor. It will go quite a bit faster than this the Velocifero MotoTech 1600 watt, and so will the Rad Wagon. Both these bikes go about 22 to 25 miles an hour. And the fastest I could get this scooter to go on a slight decline was 18 miles per hour. So not much of a decline, but there was a slight. That's about it. The cost for this is, I think, if you look at the new Velocifero MotoTec 2000, I don't think there's much improvements other than it has a 2,000 watt motor. Looking at some of the videos of it, it doesn't appear to be any faster than this one. It may be, but at the same price as these bikes, and the quality of these bikes is just far better than the Velocifero. So if you want a scooter, get a scooter, but I'd recommend the bikes over the scooter. Take care. Bye.